African women did not vote before Western feminism. Really? Let me show you with 5 examples. I am Joadre. Here we uncover untold stories from Africa and find healing. To set the stage of what we're talking about today, feminism. Feminism is both a movement and a way of thinking that seeks to achieve equality between women and men in all areas of life, so social, political, economical, and cultural. So there have been several waves of feminism, but today we're going to focus on the first wave, the one around 19th, 20th, early 20th century, legal rights, especially the right for women to vote. Now, before this time, African women were they unable to vote? Okay, let me explain. Pre-colonial African societies were diverse, containing institutions and practices and social norms that gave women significant roles, economic, ritual, social, and political authority. So these forms of influence often did not map neatly to the Western feminist categories. African female powers were usually embedded within collective institutions, kinship structures, ritual roles, and economic networks, rather than exercised through universalized individual rights. So in many African societies, power was shared, complementary, and embedded in cultural institutions. Now, with this knowledge at the back of your mind, let's talk about voting. Because in pre-colonial African societies, women did not vote in the sense of ballot elections. Why should they? Voting means making a choice within a group to reach a decision. Now, in most African societies, decision-making was consensus-based, not competitive elections. Legitimacy came from lineage, spiritual authority, and community respect, not from ballots. Western feminism needed to frame rights in terms of vote because women in Europe and America legally were excluded from political systems where voting was the main gateway to power. In Africa, women already had institutionalized channels of influence. Colonialism disrupted or, in many occasions, erased these roles, imposing male-dominated systems that pushed women out of the political authority. Let's explore some examples. Igbo, Nigeria, West Africa. Women had the Muada, daughters' councils, and Mikiri assemblies where they collectively made decisions. Hey, I don't know if I pronounced that one like an Igbo girl, oh, pardon me. They resolved disputes and they could sanction men or leaders. Their voices carried weight in the society and in community affairs. Come to Ghana, Akan. The Queen Mother was a political figure. She nominated kings, advised them, and could dispose of them. Women elders also sat on councils that determined community laws. Or is it Yoruba in Nigeria? Women could hold chieftaincy titles like the Iyalode, representing all women in political systems, markets, trade network, and even festivals gave women a structure of influence. I don't know if I pronounce that Iyalode well. Sorry. Even now I'm saying sorry before I pronounce this one. Ethiopia, Oromo. The Sikhi institution gave women collective authority to challenge injustice, and they had roles within the Gada system, a highly democratic indigenous governance system. Or is it in Kenya? Kikuyu. Pardon me. So anything I didn't pronounce well, I'm just gonna put it again on the screen. Women elders participated in councils of advice and were respected in ritual and spiritual matters. So African women were not all locked up in the kitchen or having their sole duty to cater for the children. I don't know where this narrative is coming from. Unfortunately, even some African men have been misled to believe this. The male child and the female child, they need their father as much as they need their mother. Many African communities simply operated on a different structure. Look, what you call kindergarten today was practiced earlier in a more reliable, accessible, and value-oriented system. A child's upbringing was everyone's responsibility. I even experienced this a bit in my time when growing up. If I had done something that was considered not acceptable, bad in my area, the neighbor, not even only the neighbor, the neighbors that knows my parents. Sometimes they don't even need to know my parents, but just in absence of my father or my mother, they will chastise me. If a child came back from school, came home and needed food, they could join the neighbor's lunch session. So these communities operated totally different. So before European women unified to demand rights to vote, which was necessary, the Dahomey Amazons during the 17th and 19th century in the kingdom of Dahomey, today's Republic of Benin, they ran an all-female military corps that served as a royal guard. So this illustrates female military roles that complicates patriarchal narrative. Patriarchal narrative that African women, we suffer from. Is it to say, or am I saying that patriarchy is non-existent in the African society? No, I didn't say that. Things are more complex than just labels, and context matters. Now, at its core, feminism challenges systems, traditions, and beliefs that create or maintain inequality, and it advocates for the rights of women, empowerment, and the freedom of choice. That last one is the one I love the most. Freedom to choose. Here is the question. Women, do you feel that you live in a society that has given you the freedom to choose? And men, I have a question for you too. Do you feel threatened by the idea that a woman could freely choose? Let me know what you think. That was it, the session. I'm Joadre, and here we're going to cover Africa's untold stories and find our way to healing.